Alright, so a couple of days since I've been able to do the Theoreticus Heresy. We're now on episode 3. We're going to take a look at that. This was done by 40K Theories, and I really gotta say, I enjoy a lot of the stuff that 40K Theories puts out. He does a lot of theory crafting. He was also in Texas Beast, if you guys didn't know. I'm going to put his links down in the description down below, next to my own. Feel free to check out everything. There's Discord link down there, as well as a link to my Patreon. In any case, shutting up, here we go.
The forces of the Emperor's children and the Iron Hands landed upon the world of the Night Lord's latest compliance. The sight that befell them was horrifying. Rows upon rows of makeshift crucifixes with butchered, mutilated corpses impaled upon them. The Primarchs Fulgrim and Ferrus Manus eventually found their brother, Conrad Kurz, Primarch of the Night Lord's Legion, executing those soldiers who had surrendered in the war. Fulgrim and Ferrus were appalled by Conrad's actions and demanded to know why Kurz would do such a thing. Kurz answered that the only way to keep peace throughout the Imperium was through fear, to prevent uprisings, to make an example of all who would stand against them. For the purpose of the Great Crusade was to conquer. Fulgrim and Ferrus disagreed. They argued that their role was to bring illumination and truth to the masses, and if the people were treated with compassion, they would serve loyally. Kurz called his brothers weaklings and naive. Fulgrim and Ferrus called Kurz a cynical fool. In their father's name, Fulgrim and Ferrus went to apprehend the Night Lord, but Kurz would not go quietly. After a brutal and bloody fistfight, Fulgrim and Ferrus bound Comrade Kurz in heavy black iron shackles and chains, with the intent of bringing him back to Terra to stand trial for his actions.
Yeah.
Ferrus Caspian was granted permission to dock with the Phalanx, and requested a private audience with Rogel Dawn. The Ultramarine explained everything that Guilliman had discovered to the Warmaster. Rogel Dawn was outraged at the accusations that their father would betray him and his brothers. In his anger, Dawn let loose a punch so hard to Caspian's face that his helmet would shatter, leaving bloody scars across his face. The shard of the oculus that Caspian held fell from his grip and landed on the floor with a gentle clinking sound. Dawn would have Caspian taken away and locked within the ship's brig, and would decide on a punishment for the Ultramarine later. Rogel Dawn picked up the stone shard in the shape of an 8-pointed star and examined it. Feeling a gentle, almost imperceptible surge of energy emanate from it. He then demanded the ship's captain and navigator to set course for the Kutus system. Guilliman would answer for his accusations. Dawn would see to it personally. Guilliman would spend more time on Kutus Prime, studying the artifact more and more. He would learn through ancient texts that the Black Oculus was known to the Eldar race as the gateway to the gods. He became more and more obsessed, performing daily pilgrimages to the realm where he met the godly bringers of truth and enlightenment. His growing fanaticism and fervour spreading throughout his legion slowly, like a cancer.
It seems so odd to me hearing Guilliman really taking Lorgar's place. But yeah, I don't know.
Soon informed that the entire Imperial Fist's legion was en route to the system, with the intention of making Guilliman explain his actions and heretical accusations. Guilliman smiled as his brother made his way to the planet, and Guilliman's forces stood ready to greet them, his honor guard also wearing the symbol of the 8-pointed star upon their breast and pauldrons.
Special thanks to Draxi for the video he just sent me. He just sent me a picture of a couple of small little cubs of something that he calls them floppas. They're basically little, I don't know what they are, but it's adorable. Anyhow, some things that the only thing that I really am seeming to have an not understanding of why did Gilliman turn this fast. Somebody said something yesterday, I can't remember who, the last time I posted one of these, about why Sanguinius would be the one to be targeted by Slaanesh. And when I was thinking about it at first, I was like, why would this happen? This doesn't make much sense. But when he said it, when he basically talked about it with the rage and everything else like that, with the red thirst, I was sitting there like, oh. But in any case, if somebody has a, maybe I'm not getting it, maybe I'm not understanding, I'm not saying anybody's wrong at this point, because the explanation I got yesterday the last time I posted one of these, for Sanguinius being the one targeted by Slaanesh made perfect sense to me. Now, if somebody can explain Gilliman's thing, or makes a little bit more sense to me, because maybe I'm just missing something. That's probably what it is, actually. In any case, moving right along. Episode 4, guys.
The Emperor of Mankind was becoming increasingly unhappy with his son, Magnus the Red, and his legion, the Thousand Sons. The legion had, despite the dangers it presented, and the warnings the Emperor himself had given them, continued their studies of the warp and sorcery. The Emperor soon couldn't withstand such repeated disobedience, and thus held the Council of Nicaea.
Okay.
Despite the arguments of Magnus and his legion, the Emperor forbade the use of sorcery throughout the legions, to the point of demanding the librarius of each legion to be disbanded. All Astartes with psychic potential were to return to rank-and-file duties within their legions. Despite Magnus's protests, the Emperor agreed that due to his son's disobedience, a unit of the Legio Custodes, the personal bodyguards of the Emperor himself, were to return with Magnus to Prospero to ensure that his decree was followed to the letter. He knew Magnus was a glutton for knowledge, who would risk anything to acquire it. This way, at least, the Emperor would know that his son would do what was told of him. Rogaldorn's forces landed.
This makes really good sense, because in this, the roles of the Primarchs are supposed to flip-flop. Loyalists are supposed to be traitors, and traitors are supposed to be loyalists. This would ensure Magnus stays loyal. Not because of anything other than him not being wiped out pretty much by a string of bad circumstance.
Upon the world of Cutus Prime, anger boiling throughout his veins. Gilliman bade for the War Master to heed his words, and would show him the Black Oculus. He requested for his brother to place his hand upon the structure, so that he may be enlightened. Dorn hesitated, fearing some kind of deception, but reluctantly agreed to do so. Like his brother before him, Rogaldorn felt his soul enter the realm of the gods, and unlike Gilliman, was not greeted by 2, but 5 figures which formed from the very swirling chaos that was before them. As they did with Gilliman, they told Dorn the origins of the Emperor and the source of his otherworldly powers. But additionally, they told Dorn that only he, as War Master of Mankind, could save the human race from extinction.
Okay.
The Emperor, they told him, would not only destroy the Astartes after the conquest of the galaxy, but slowly would destroy all of humanity, so that he could ascend to godhood. They explained that they simply wished to be left alone, and thus would do anything to assist the War Master in his goals, for their goals aligned. If the Emperor's plan to become a god were to fail, Dorn would be made a hero of the Imperium. No, not a hero. A saint. Humanity would enter a new golden age, guided by the fist of Rogaldorn. Rogaldorn initially denied such a thing could be possible, but the godly beings filled Rogal's mind with visions of the past, of the present, and what must have been the future. Or at least, a future. He was shown a future where humanity would become paranoid and violent, locked in a dark age of mythology and eternal suffering, where, in the grim darkness of the far future, there was only war. He was shown visions of ghostly beings, wreathed in flame and bone, a twisted mockery of the proud and noble Legio Astartes.
Legion of the Damned.
He saw his beloved brother, Sanguinius, dead before his father's feet. But Dawn could stop this nightmare, and the godly beings would help, for a small, yet eternal price. Dawn couldn't believe what he was seeing. It couldn't be real. But everything deep within his soul told him that not only was it real, but Dawn, and only Dawn, could prevent the damnation of the human race. When Dawn's soul returned to his body, he turned to his brother, Rabute Gilliman, and demanded that he would summon the brothers they could trust with such sensitive information. Gilliman was ordered to summon the Dauntless Few.
Ah, okay. I'm still struggling a little bit with this. But at the same time, I'm kind of starting to get it, especially when Gilliman would be the one that would carry the most weight with certain Primarchs, especially many of the Loyalist ones. He would be the one to carry the most weight, so that will be why he was kind of targeted to be the Lorgar-ish figure of this, because out of all the rest of the Primarchs, he would be the one, with the exception of Sanguinius, of course, that could kind of bring this kind of thing to bear. In any case, I'm going to continue watching this 2 episodes at a time, and I'm going to be putting the links down in the description down below. We're on episode 4. 5 and 6 will be next. Until then, I'll catch you guys next time.